This is Baton Rouge Labor Radio. We are fully underwritten by the Baton Rouge Building and Trades and the Louisiana AFL-CIO. And this morning we're blessed. Blessed. Can I use that term on a Christian station?
You absolutely can, but you may change your mind.
I love this lady. Although we're in different political parties, I'm in a party.
What party is it?
I'm in the no party party.
That doesn't sound very fun.
We have fun.
No party.
We have fun, believe me. We get down. Okay. I got Kirsten, Alabama Talkus, and I got Sue Yin. Sue Yin Why? Way. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. How about that?
Well, Mike, I've been on the show before with you. Had a good time. I'm Kirsten Alvanatakis from the Louisiana Democratic Party. The last time we were on, I'm trying to remember what we talked about. We had some good times, though.
We had...
I feel like Stephen was here with me last time we were here.
Nice guy. I really like him.
Well, we try.
But anyway, we're supposed to have, I guess, some people calling in later. Whether the phones work or not, I don't know. That's not my job to get these phones working. Okay, I do my best. I'm just an old five and dimer coming in. I'm really not smiling upon any political candidates this morning, but I'm sure you guys are.
Well, we feel really good about what Mary Landrieu did at the debate this week. I don't know if you saw it. I think she looked polished.
I would rather pull in my garage than watch a political debate. I'd rather go in my garage, run a hose from my exhaust system into the car with the windows rolled up and see what happens next.
Okay, so you didn't see the debate, so I'll recap it for you. Mary Landrieu looked strong. She looked polished. And let me tell you what Bill Cassidy said. Bill Cassidy doubled down on his votes against seniors. You know, he wants to raise the retirement age to 70.
Yep.
He doubled down on his votes against women. He voted against the Lilly Ledbetter Act and attempted to defend that.
That's wrong.
And he also doubled down on his votes against students. He seems to think that Pell Grants are rife with fraud when we know tens of thousands of Louisiana college students depend on Pell Grants to be able to afford school after Jindal jacked up tuition because he cut $700 million from higher ed.
Where does Bill Cassidy stand on the Keystone Pipeline? Because that is a very big, there's 2,000 members, over 2,000 members in the Baton Rouge Plumbers and Steamfitters Union, and probably at least 500 of those are welders, and that's huge for us. Because Bill Cassidy is saying that he can break the logjam with this. I know this is not about Bill Cassidy, but where's Mary Landrieu stand on it?
Well, I think Bill Cassidy and Mary Landrieu are both strong supporters of Keystone. So if you're going to make your voting decision based on that issue, they're equivalent. The difference is that Mary Landrieu is chair of the Senate Energy Committee. She brings with that.
She will be, right?
She is currently the chair, and she is going to be able to use her clout, her experience, her connections in D.C. You know, Mary Landrieu is somebody who has great relationships with people on both sides of the aisle. So she's going to be the person that if we get Keystone Pipeline done, it's going to be with Mary Landrieu's
Real quick,
leadership.
why couldn't they get it done in the last 2 years with the Democrats in control of the Senate?
Well, Mary Landrieu's only just recently taken over the Senate.
But
Energy
Mary
Committee.
Landrieu's not the only Democrat in the Senate.
That's correct.
There's 52 other ones.
Yes, and she's actually brought on more Democrats since she's taken leadership of the Senate Energy Committee. She's brought on more Democrats as supporters of Keystone, and I believe if she's allowed to stay there, she's going to keep bringing over more Democrats to understand this issue and what's at stake for Louisiana. I mean, you said it. There's thousands of jobs at stake in Louisiana to get this done.
Okay. Good morning, caller. Hello? Oh, well, I think we're going to have trouble with these phones today. Well, to continue, Sue.
Okay. This is Sue Yen Wei. I am also with the Louisiana Democratic Party, specifically for the Campaign for Louisiana, which is the election year effort to reelect Senator Landrieu. That's about it for me. So what?
Well, no. Okay. I guess we've already traveled this, that I'm not going to get an answer of why we couldn't get the Keystone Pipeline through the Senate with 52 Democrats. But, Bill Cassidy brings up a good point, her opponent, about the Keystone Pipeline. And like I said, that is huge. We're Plumbers and Steamfitters Union. Sure. We're all over the country. We're nationwide. And, you are talking thousands of union jobs.
Yes, and
they couldn't get it done.
Well, it takes as you said earlier, it takes 60 votes in the Senate to get anything done, right? And
the Republicans are for it.
Well, so it takes 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate. Anything that happens on Keystone is going to require bipartisan support. Bill Cassidy has no experience with working people across the aisle. He has no clout, no leadership. He doesn't have connections in the Senate. Mary Landrieu does. She's somebody that can work with Republicans. She can work with Democrats. She got flood insurance reform done, which I think is going to help tens of thousands of Louisiana homeowners.
She got a lot done.
There, you said it. She got a lot done, and she's going to continue to get a lot done for Louisiana. That's why we need to keep her there in the Senate.
Okay. I think we're still having phone problems. I don't know how to work this out, but I very much appreciate Kirsten Alabama Talkers and Sue Yen Wei. Sue Yen Wei coming in. They're with the Democratic Party.
Can we talk about some of the cool stuff that's happening this week?
You can talk about anything you want to. This is Baton Rouge Labor Radio. We're on WTQT 106.1 LPFM. Talk about anything you like.
Well, we got a couple of things that might be of interest to your listeners out there. Monday, we've got President Bill Clinton coming to Baton Rouge. He's going to be downtown at the Hilton at 2 p.m. The doors open at 1 p.m. If folks want to get tickets to see Bill Clinton, they are free. When are things free in life, Mike? Never.
I'm not going to touch that line.
This is a great thing. President Bill Clinton is coming down here. He's going to talk about why we've got to keep Mary Landrieu in the Senate. It's a great opportunity for people to come out and see the president. If you want tickets, it's very easy. Go online. It's marylandrieu.com/rally. That's marylandrieu.com/rally. You can sign up there, get your tickets for free, and come see President Bill Clinton.
I'll be there, man. No, I won't.
You're a working man. You got stuff going on.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Mike. This is Mary Lynch, the candidate for East Baton Rouge Parish School System, District 1.
Glad you could call in, Ms. Lynch. I'm sitting here with Kirsten Alabama Talkers and Sue Yen Wei with the Democratic Party. And here, use my shoe. No? Tell us what district you're running in. You're a Democrat. You're a Democrat.
I am actually independent.
Independent. Hey, you and I have something in common.
Convoluted story, and as my children say, I have the ability to turn a very short story into a half an hour, so I'm going to condense it down for you.
Okay.
It's actually raised by a Democratic Union father who retired printing the Los Angeles Times. He will be 86 years old on the 28th of October, and he and my mom, who's 84, still go and vote together because she is Republican, and they cancel each other out. We had many lively political discussions over the dinner table growing up, and our parents instilled in us the ability to listen to other people's points of view and to be able to act on our own. So I have voted for Democrats, I voted Republican, I have voted for the person or the referendum that is in the best interest of where I am right now. And moving to Louisiana, is the only state in the union where you're penalized for being an independent. We cannot vote in primaries.
Okay, Ms. Lynch. Go ahead. Tell us, are you for collective bargaining for the East Baton Rouge Parish school teachers?
Okay, I am District 1. I am in favor of allowing them to vote as a collective group to decide if they want to pursue that, meaning I will not impede it if it comes to it.
Okay. Do you have a website or anything?
I do not have a website. I have a Facebook page that I was forced to do. I am not someone who likes my personal business all over the internet. But if you Facebook, it is Mary Lynch for District 1, and you can look on there and see basically what I stand for.
Okay. Well, Ms. Lynch, why would you be running for the school board?
Very good question. My grandparents were not from this country. My parents were first-generation Americans. So
Where
my
are they
grandparents
from?
became naturalized citizens. They immigrated from Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia in the early 1920s. And my mother's mom, my namesake, Mary, till the day she died, when she became a naturalized citizen, voted in every single election she was eligible to do until the day she died at 96 years of age. And I can remember complaining to her as a teenager, and she says, "You don't understand how good you have it in this country. Your vote counts, and if you're not going to vote, don't complain." So complained about our school system, of which I have two students in the East Baton Rouge Parish School System. One is actually a graduate. One is currently a ninth grader. And did not like the direction that it was going in. And unfortunately, Randy Lamanna died in office, and I was appointed out of 7 candidates to fill his position May 1st of this year. And part of the reason I was chosen, Randy was a Democrat, actually voted for him, was that I'm very like-minded when it came to school issues and the direction of the school system. So I stopped complaining and decided to start doing something about it. That's how I came about.
Okay. What would be your goals if you won District 1 seat on the school board?
Okay. My goal for winning after coming back as your District 1 representative would be to bridge gaps on the school board. It is very much an us versus them mentality, and there is absolutely no way you can accomplish and move things forward at the speed of which we would like to move it forward with two separate agendas and nobody willing to compromise. So
I don't understand the us versus them. What are you referring to, Ms. Lynch?
Right now, we have 11 members on the board. And through the legislative issues this year, the business community tried to force us to downsize from 11 to 9, which is reducing democratic voice within the system of the school district. Unfortunately, it passed. So we're down to 9 people now that are running for election. And when we were 11, it was 6 to 5. 6 controlled by big business, 5 of us that were in the best interest of students, parents, teachers, and stakeholders in this community that utilize the East Baton Rouge Parish School District. So that's what I mean by us versus them. 2 vastly separate agendas. We all want the same outcome. It's how we go about accomplishing those outcomes and who should be in charge of the direction of those outcomes where we vastly differ.
Okay, so I'm thinking that you wouldn't agree with Mark Twain to get rid of all school boards in the land.
I do not. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as an old college professor of mine used to say. There are good people there, and like I said, our hearts are in the right place. It's the methodology and the pressure from behind that person to do what they're told to do.
In the couple of minutes that we got left, Ms. Lynch, give us your best stump speech here why people in your district should vote for you.
All right. Why people in my district should vote for me. I believe in this school system. I have utilized it with my children for the 13 years that we've lived in East Baton Rouge Parish. I have lived the successes in my own household with my children. I have been a long-term certified substitute teacher for the district for 7.5 years. I had to give that up when I became a board member. It's called a conflict of interest. But I can still go and volunteer in schools, which I do. I have lived successes in my classroom. My long-term certified subbing has taken me from Ryan Elementary School to Melrose Elementary to Buchanan to Glasgow to Westdale to Woodlawn Elementary to River Oaks to Twin Oaks. Basically, if there's a school in East Baton Rouge Parish, I've touched it in the last 7.5 years, some of them for semester-long assignments. I know what our teachers have to deal with on a daily basis and the pressures from above and from below for students to succeed. And I do not believe that student achievement should be measured by one test a year, but looked at as the body of work for that student from this time they came in at the start of the year until they finish at the end of the year. And a teacher's success should not be based on solely one test that they take. Some students do phenomenally on tests, but put forth very little effort into class, and some people understand concepts in class, but do not test well. So you cannot use just one methodology for deciding a teacher's effectiveness. I have been endorsed by the East Baton Rouge Federation of Teachers, the Louisiana Federation of Teachers, the AFL-CIO, and basically increasing people, middle-income families, back into the school district is our goal, and that we can meet that goal and draw more people in and get our numbers up substantially if we offer more specialized programs and seats available in elementary schools, bring them in early, and keep them with us throughout their 12 years of education.
Well, we thank you for joining us here on Baton Rouge Labor Radio.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
All right, early voting begins October 21st through the 28th. If you can't make it out November 4th to vote, you can vote early. The Motor Vehicle Building in Baker, the City Hall downtown in Baton Rouge on St. Louis Street, City Court Plaza Building on Coursey Boulevard, and the L.A. State Archives Building on Essa Lane.
Okay. Thank you for joining. That's candidate Mary Lynch for the 1st District School Board here in East Baton Rouge Parish. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Lynch.
Thank you for having me.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
And that was Mary Lynch, School Board District 1, East Baton Rouge Parish. We'll go back to our guest here, Kirsten Alabama Taucus and Sue Yen Wei. Ladies?
Well, so we just talked about. Oh, go ahead.
Go
I'm sorry.
ahead.
We talked about President Clinton coming to town on Monday. We've got another guest coming to our state that some of your listeners might be interested in. Congressman John Lewis, hero of the civil rights movement.
I like him.
He's wonderful. He's going to be here on Wednesday in Baton Rouge on the campus of Southern University at noon. So if folks are interested in seeing Congressman Lewis, a real champion for civil rights, come out and see him this Wednesday at Southern University at noon. We'd love to see a nice group of folks. And one of the great things is if you come to that rally and you're a voter in East Baton Rouge Parish, you're going to be able to get on the bus with Congressman Lewis and go to the polls to vote early. That's this Wednesday, Southern University.
Souls to the poll.
Yes, exactly.
I got your email.
We're going to get on the bus with John Lewis on Wednesday and go vote early. That's something that's going to be available for folks.
You know, if all politicians was like that man, I wouldn't be so sour. I mean, on politics, and a lot of people wouldn't. The man stands up for what he believes in, and there's no cutting it one way or the other. He's stone cold for the people.
Absolutely.
And in both parties, I don't see that in just masses. In masses.
Well, I think Congressman Lewis has a lot of integrity. He's fought for what he's
no doubt,
and he's been put in jail quite a few times for standing up for what he believed was right. And I think he's an example we should all learn from. So again, President Clinton on Monday. We've got Congressman Lewis coming on Wednesday, and Sue Yen would like to tell some folks about early voting and how they can take advantage of that.
Okay, so as Mary Lynch mentioned, early voting starts on Tuesday. It's the 21st through the 28th, with the exception of Sunday. And if you didn't catch all of the locations that she mentioned, you can go to our website, iwillgovote.com, and you can commit to vote early and find your polling location. So, and just to stress, the early voting is incredibly important. Think of Election Day as the last day you can vote, and I think that's it for me.
So what was that website one more time where people can go and commit to vote and find their polling place?
It's iwillgovote, all one word, .com.
And it's
And it's GEAUX.
We got to keep it Cajun down here with our URL. So yes, I will GEAUX vote.com. Go there. You're going to be able to sign up, find your polling location. We'll send you a reminder email on Tuesday to go out and vote, and we'll also send you a reminder email before Election Day if you haven't taken that opportunity yet.
So how many, what kind of turnout are you looking at?
We're looking at turnout's going to be extremely high. I think in the next couple of days we're going to have some new voter registration numbers coming out that are going to show that people are incredibly engaged, energized, and motivated about this election. People know what's at stake. There's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake for women on equal pay and domestic violence. There's a lot at stake for college students. There's a lot at stake for seniors. Bill Cassidy wants to slash benefits for seniors and raise the retirement age to 70. And we think people, the more they learn about Bill Cassidy, the less they like him. And we think that momentum's on our side.
Especially with college students, the response that we've been getting on college campuses is absolutely amazing. People are excited, they're committing to vote, and we have volunteers that are coming from our college campuses. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. You're at LSU, Sue?
No, I'm. I've long since graduated.
Oh.
Yeah, I know I look young.
That's not a bad thing, Sue.
Right.
This is Baton Rouge Labor Radio. We're on WTQT 106.1 FM, LPFM, and we're waiting on another caller, Kirsten and Sue.
So you were talking about the Senate a little bit earlier, and if the Republicans take over the Senate, and I just wanted to
Bill Cassidy says he can get the Keystone Pipeline done.
Well,
Bim, boom, bam.
Let's say Mitch McConnell takes over the Senate. Let me talk to you about some of the priorities Mitch McConnell has the first day he would perhaps take over the Senate. He wants to introduce legislation that's going to reform. And anytime somebody says they want to reform things, I'm like, uh-oh, what's coming down the pike? He wants to reform the National Labor Relations Board and make it basically ineffective by adding another member. So it's going to be more gridlock, more log jam, so we can't get decisions out of the NLRB. And I think you understand that would be really, really dangerous.
I understand that. And I also understand that they want to repeal the American ACA.
That's
they want to repeal that.
That's something that they say they want to do. We have not seen an alternative plan from them.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I mean, this is my problem with politics. Okay, with what's going on right now, they want to repeal the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. Now, lacking them getting 60 votes in the Senate, that's not going to happen. The guy that the bill's named after is not going to repeal a bill that's named after him, Obamacare. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't do it. I like that. I mean, daycare. I would love that. If they would change the name to daycare, I would not sign to repeal daycare. So I don't think President Obama is going to sign to repeal Obamacare. That would be crazy of him. Good morning. Is this
Verita Lee?
Verita Lee, school board candidate endorsed by the AFL-CIO. Good morning, Ms. Lee.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm sitting here with Kirsten Alabama Talkers and Sue Yin Wei. They're with the Democratic Party. And tell us, Ms. Lee, tell us a little about your candidacy.
Okay, I'm running for my third term on the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, District 2. This particular term, the board reapportioned at the last second, meaning our districts are much larger, as large as a state representative district. It's very hard, I'm just going to say it's very hard to try to reach all the people by feet like I normally do, door to door, knocking, and that's what I'm trying to do with the help of some friends and family. Get out and let the people know in the new areas that I picked up who I am. But to be honest with you, I haven't had problems because they already know who I am. They watch the board meetings. They know how I fight for public education, how I fight for the children, the people who are employed in the school district. So they're spreading the word about Farita Lee. But still, I can't sit down and just know that they're going to, the people are going to go out to the polls without me doing my part too. So it's so many things that are unfinished that started with the legislature. Well, they overruled some of these things, but we have the business groups and the Lane Grisby who is trying to take over the school district. Now, if they get the candidates that they have endorsed, if you read the paper a few days ago or whatever the case may be, you see the money that they're pumping into their accounts to do all the things that may be necessary to, get your name out there if it's not already out there. But I know mine is out there. I'm just hoping and praying that I'll be able to go back along with 4 other concerned board members fighting for these children and fighting to save our school district. That's what it's all about, taking control over the East Baton Rouge Parish school system and the money. They want to charter this entire district except for the magnet schools and programs. They want to leave that intact, but all the other schools, especially in the district that I represent, and Mr. Tarbert Smith and Dr. Kenyatta Nelson Smith and the new District 5 that was created to ensure a person that's in the seat now keeps because they voted the way they wanted her to vote all the time. And it wasn't what was best for these children in this school district. We are facing them wanting to take the money and give the principals control, site-based budgeting, which is going to cause some schools not to be funded as well as they should and to meet the needs of the children. Some places, in some schools, the money is needed worse than it is in other schools. It may not need as much money to educate those children in some areas in our district as it do in other areas, like the northern part of the parish. So I'm running for a third term, hopefully to continue to fight for these children and the employees in the school district.
Okay, Miss Lee. Give us, if you want to give us the places people can vote for you. We're having a little trouble with the phone, so we're going to have to kind of end this call early. We're having a problem with the phone, and we've got some technical difficulties.
Okay.
where's your district at?
Okay, in District 2, which is the new district, it covers the St. Gerard Extended Care Building. People living in that area, over in the Claiborne area off of Plank Road, Airline, Hollywood. That's some of the new area I picked up. I picked up all of the Northeast, Pride, Port Hudson, up that way, Brownsville area. You got the Glen Oaks, Marydale Place, St. Mark Church. I got Prescott Middle, if they vote there, that's in the district. IFA Church off of Greenwell Street, that's in denomination of Faith Assembly, if my memory serves me correct. That area, I have the Montgomery Center. If they vote there, they'll be able to vote for myself. And I did say St. Mark United Methodist Church, Glen Oaks Middle School, that area. I have Northeast Elementary School, Brownsville Volunteer Fire Station. They vote there, they can vote for me. Gas Utility District 1, that's a new area up in Zachary on Deerwood Road. I have that area also. I said Glen Oaks High School, Sharon Hills, Grace Baptist Church, that's a new area. I have Bethany World Prayer Center. They could vote for me. Marydale Elementary School, Baker Town Hall, and those are some of the areas that.
That's a huge district.
Yes, it is. It's about 40,000 plus people. Close to 27,000 registered voters in the district.
Ms. Lee, we're going to have to go. We're going to have to cut it. Like I said, we're having technical difficulties with the phone.
Okay.
We appreciate you calling in, and we wish you the best of luck in your reelection.
And thank you. I'm number 94 on the ballot, and I appreciate your endorsement.
You have a good day, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Ms. Lee.
Thank you, sir.
And that was Ms. Veretta Lee. She's running for school board. She is endorsed by the AFL-CIO and District 2 candidate. We're going to go back to our guest, Kirsten Avalantakis. Right. Did I say that right this time?
No.
Alabama talk. Sue Yen Way with the Louisiana Democratic Party.
Well, again, we are talking about early voting. People think they should wait until Election Day. You do not need a reason to vote early in Louisiana. Anyone who is a registered voter can vote early, starting October 21st. That is this Tuesday. You can go out to the polls, get it out of the way, get it done, and keep it moving. Early voting goes for a week, so it's from October 21st to October 28th. But there is no Sunday early voting in the state, so you've got 6 days to early vote.
6 days to early vote. Now, we have another caller calling in, but before that, I had a question. With all the controversy about the voter ID, and since I've been voting in Louisiana, I've always had to produce an ID. And it's around the country, and I know it affects older people and students and stuff like that. But why hasn't there been a push to make, say, Louisiana purchase cards with a picture on them, which I think would cut down on food stamp fraud, and make it a state ID where you could show it and vote? And on the other side, concealed carry permits, it should be a state ID. Any kind of social service card should be, in my opinion, a state ID. So if you want to make ID, hey, show an ID. Here it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, so Louisiana has a voter ID law that is actually one of the first voter ID laws in the nation. But it's reasonably moderate compared to some of the really strict voter ID laws that have come down the pike, like, for example, in Texas, where your name on your ID must exactly match what's on the voter rolls. And who does that affect? That affects a lot of women
Right.
who maybe have changed their names. So Louisiana has a voter ID law. It's not as strict as other states. And really, any generally accepted form of ID that has a photo and a signature on it will work as an ID. It does not have to be a driver's license or a passport. In addition, if you register to vote and you get your voter registration card in the mail, you can then go to any DMV, any motor vehicles office, and get a free state ID, free photo state ID.
That's a good deal.
It is. It is. Louisiana, again, we have one of the older voter ID laws. It's reasonably progressive. And in addition, if you go to the polls and you do not have photo ID, you can ask to sign an affidavit and then attest to the fact that you are who you are, and you will be permitted to vote.
Well, that's good. Good morning, callers. Is this Mr. Smith?
Yes, it is. Good morning.
Your candidate,
District 4.
District 4.
I'm the incumbent and current vice president of the school board, East Baton Rouge Parish.
well, give us your best stump speech, Mr. Smith.
Sure. And first of all, good morning, and I want to thank your members and your organization. I'm endorsed by the AFL-CIO, endorsed by the East Baton Rouge Federation of Teachers, the Louisiana Association of Educators, and Service Employees International Union, the local affiliate here in Baton Rouge. My name is Tarvel Smith. I'm number 107 on the ballot. I'm running for re-election for this will be my fourth term if re-elected, completed a term when I was appointed on the board, to continue the sustained growth and hopefully surpass the growth that the district has seen over the past decade. We're in a state of flux in education. We have terminology like Common Core, LEAP tests, accountability. I bring to the school board the institutional knowledge through my experience to continue the growth that East Baton Rouge Parish School System has had over the past years. I've been a champion for children, champion for employees. Matter of fact, we tried to give the employees the day off for elections since we won't have classes. I voted for it, and Ms. Lee voted for it. Other board members voted for it, but the business-backed board members decided not to give workers the day off to exercise their franchise. They will have an opportunity to do that, but I also want to encourage everybody to early vote, which starts October 21st through the 28th. So that's just a generalization of why I'm running. And you asked Ms. Lynch a question earlier. Let me unemphatically say
Collective
I
bargaining.
am a supporter of collective bargaining, have introduced it in the past, and if reelected, will introduce it and try to push it to make sure employees are at the table when it comes to negotiating things such as salary, insurance. We've had a debacle with that lately, and I think it's because we don't have collective bargaining.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a plus with Baton Rouge Labor Radio.
Yes.
Collective bargaining.
Not only is it
We're for that.
Baton Rouge Labor Radio, it's a plus for government and a school system that has employees that send their kids to public schools and the overall community in general.
Well, Mr. Smith, give us roundabout. Well, I'm sitting here with the two Democratic office.
No, I don't hold any office.
Well,
I'm a worker bee.
They're worker bees.
And I'm a Democratic worker bee. I look forward to seeing you all at President Clinton's rally on Wednesday. If I can get out of my court appointment, I will definitely be there. But I also want to say I'm endorsing the local Democratic Party as well.
Wonderful. Well, President Clinton will be here on Monday, and Congressman John Lewis will be here on Wednesday. So two great people.
I definitely want to make both of those.
Yes.
I will be there Monday. I did my reservation last night online.
Excellent.
Oh, awesome.
Well, that's great. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Look forward to seeing you there.
So, go ahead, give us your best stump speech, and we're trying to get some stuff in with the Kirsten Alabama Caucus and Sue Yen Way.
Sure. Again, for your listeners. My name is Tarvel Smith. I'm the current Vice President of the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. I've been on the board for 10 years, looking to serve another term to continue the sustained growth that East Baton Rouge Parish has received. I'm a champion of employee rights, champion for children. I have the institutional knowledge in this politically charged educational environment. I'm not backed by business because I don't have strings in my back. I'm not a puppet who's told to do what business feels is in their best interest. I will continue to be a champion for children, employees, and do what's in the best interest to sustain the East Baton Rouge Parish school system. So if you can't vote early, definitely vote November 4th, but I hope you will vote early. I have the experience needed, just like you all were talking about keeping Mary Landrieu in the Senate. We're going to have a new superintendent at some point. I don't see how someone like my opponent, I'm not going to say his name, who has only lived back in Baton Rouge for under 2 years, can have the institutional knowledge to sustain the growth that we've seen in the district. And let me just briefly mention the areas in my district. If you live in Villa Del Rey, where I live, if you live in Park Forest,
You're my neighbor.
Forest East, Monticello, Goodwood Homestead, the Lanier area, you can vote for experience in Tarvel Anthony Smith.
Vote early and vote often, like Earl Long said.
I'm not going to say vote often, but get out there early and let's win this thing in early voting. That's my goal.
Well, thank you for calling in Baton Rouge Labor Radio, Mr. Tarvel Smith, candidate for school board.
District 4.
District 4, that's my neighborhood. And we appreciate your time, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the endorsement.
Have a nice day.
God bless.
Now, this is Baton Rouge Labor Radio. I'm Michael D. Day, and we're on WTQT 106.1 LP FM, and we'll go back to the Democratic Worker Bees, Kirsten Alabama-Taucus and Sue Yen Wei.
Well, again, thank you for having us on today.
Thank you for coming. I don't know why you did it. I mean, I know
I get to
this
spend
has
an
got to
hour
be
with you.
painful for you.
Not at all.
I mean, what'd you do? Draw the short straw again?
Not at all. When Brother Louis Wren calls me up and asks me to do something,
Oh.
I say yes.
Because you know he's got a 44 in that pickup truck.
Oh, I did not know that.
No,
actually.
I'm kidding.
No, we love Louis and we love hanging
You
out
like
with
to
you.
watch him ride horses. Right?
Well, we appreciate you having us on. We're talking about the Senate race. What's at stake? There's a lot at stake for working people, I think. Mary Landrieu supports a living wage, a fair minimum wage. You know, if we raise the minimum wage in this state to $10.10 an hour, that would help more than 300,000 working people, working families. It would put $689 million into the economy, and it would actually create 3,300 jobs. So that's something Mary Landrieu supports. That is something that Bill Cassidy is against. And we think that is one of the reasons why folks who are working people who are going out there working 40 hours a week and trying to make ends meet, we understand that's difficult. Mary Landrieu wants to see you earn a living wage, and Bill Cassidy couldn't care less.
You know, I've had people on the show, one being Dr. Eiler Coates, who is an engineer also, and he can tell you how much touch time it takes to make a hamburger, okay? And he says that if minimum wage was $20 an hour, that you would see a boon in this country that you've never seen before. People would be dropping off social programs, people would be buying cars, people would be buying houses, and it would be a boon like we've never seen before. And 1010 just doesn't seem that outrageous, and that's my problem with both parties again.
Well, see,
2009, we had the Democrats had 60 votes in the Senate. They had a House full of Democrats, and Dennis Kucinich wanted to get a lot of stuff done from Ohio. Dennis Kucinich, one of my heroes, friend of the working man, no longer there. I think he got carved out or something.
yeah, he got districted against another
But
Democrat.
my question is, in 2009, why didn't we raise the minimum wage, link it with the cost of living, and get it done then? I mean, you see all these people beating drums, and they're for all this stuff, but when it comes time, and they're in the majority, it doesn't happen.
Well, I think if we go back to where the economy was at in 2009, I don't think that there
It was never going to get better.
Well, it has gotten better, as a matter of fact. Unemployment is way down. We've had dozens and dozens of months of consecutive job growth. You know, we didn't do the minimum wage then, but we're at the point now where our economy's starting to pick back up again. We need to do something for working people. All of the benefits of the economy improving have accrued to big corporations. They have not accrued to working people. We need to make sure that that happens, and Senator Landrieu supports getting the minimum wage to a place where it will be helpful. And she also supports increasing the tipped wage. You know, the tipped wage is $2.13 an hour. And I've worked as a bartender and a waitress. And
I have also.
And I know what it's like to work for $2.13 an hour. And some nights it's great. You have a busy section. You make a lot of money. And then other nights it's not busy, and you're really struggling. And Mary Landrieu feels, especially in Louisiana, where we have such a large service sector industry and so many workers who are making those drinks on Bourbon Street and making food in the hotels in the French Quarter, they deserve a living wage as well. So I think for all of those reasons, Mary Landrieu is far and away superior to Bill Cassidy on issues affecting working periods.
Too bad they didn't have that vision in 2009. That's all I can say. I do planning. I know what I'm going to do next week. I really do. But that's great. They're for it. Hey, better late than never, I guess.
Well, and you know what? That's something you were talking about both parties, but increasing the minimum wage actually has support from Republicans, Democrats, and Independents.
Northeast Democrat, Northeast Republican.
Well, and it has support in Louisiana amongst voters across all political spectrums. It has a majority of support from Democrats, Independents, and it has a plurality support even amongst Republicans. Because, look, folks understand, if you're working 40 hours a week, you should be able to feed your family, pay the rent, and maybe put a little aside so you can take your family
$10 is not going to do that either.
It'll get us closer.
It'll get you closer.
It'll get us closer. And what you talked about earlier, the benefits accrue to everyone. Maybe you make $15 an hour or $20 an hour. When the minimum wage goes up, that means those folks are now able to go spend money at the local pizza shop. They're allowed to take their kids out to go see the movies. It's something that's really basic. I mean, you go back to Henry Ford, knew that paying his workers a little bit more would turn them into Ford car owners.
And was the most anti-union guy
That
you ever
is true.
met in your life.
That
But
is true.
he did know that someone working in his plan had to be able to buy his car for him to be successful.
Sure, raising the minimum wage makes sense for business people too, and Mary Landrieu understands that. Bill Cassidy does not, and I think that's important for people to know. There's a clear contrast between the two candidates on that particular issue.
Bill Cassidy, as nice a guy as he is, has very scary eyebrows.
I can't speak to the quality of his eyebrows. I can only speak to his record. He's. We talked about the Affordable Care Act a little bit earlier, and we talked about repealing it. Let's talk about what that would mean. We've got hundreds of thousands of young people in this state who are now able to stay on their parents' insurance to the age of 26 because of the Affordable Care Act. We've got women who are able to get insurance. Being a woman's no longer a pre-existing condition.
Ain't that great?
Look, I don't know how
It
you
is-
feel about
it
it.
is good.
But I
It is
think that
good.
I shouldn't have to pay more than a man for health insurance. And I also, the fact that people can get preventive care. People can go in and get cancer screenings. They can get their flu shots without any copay. That's
Shingle shots. Is that a copay?
if it's a preventive service, yes, it is without a copay. And you know what the Affordable Care Act also did is it's taking away power from the big insurance companies. We need patients and doctors to be in control of care. We don't need big insurance companies charging people more, kicking people off their insurance after they've paid their premiums for years and years and years. I think that those changes are critical. Say what you want about the law. Mary Landrieu has said it's not perfect, but she wants to work on fixing it. Bill Cassidy wants to take away all of those protections, and he wants to kick people off insurance. He wants to make women pay more for their coverage. He wants young adults to not be able to stay on their parents' coverage. I think that's a real problem, and I think people should know the facts.
That is a problem. And I will say, in defense of the Affordable Care Act, that my wife has received a $274 rebate from the insurance company 2 years in a row. What's down the future of it, I don't know. I know that it's a sin and a shame when you got a governor here and everybody else that's doing everything they can to see that it doesn't work. If they've done everything that they could to make it work and then it don't work, call it a failure. Call it what it is.
Sure, you can't cut the rail line and then call something
But
a
when
train
you're
wreck.
against the Medicaid expansion and they're threatening to close down hospitals right here in Baton Rouge, that's a problem with me.
You're absolutely correct. The Medicaid expansion would help 240,000 working people in the state.
Working
people.
This is not people home playing Xboxes all day, smoking weed. This is people working.
You're absolutely correct. And look, those are our federal tax dollars. We've sent them to Washington. All we're asking is that they come back to help people get health care, to protect hospitals like you talked about. The Baton Rouge General Mid-City campus, it's right down the road on Florida Boulevard. It's actually in Congressman Bill Cassidy's congressional district. He did not say one word, not a single thing, when the Baton Rouge General Mid-City's campus was threatening to close their emergency room. And why are they threatening to close their emergency room? Because we have refused to accept those billions of dollars.
Is that the reason?
Yes, absolutely. Because what happened is this. Bill Cassidy tells everybody he worked at a charity hospital. That charity hospital was Earl K. Long.
Exactly.
Now closed.
Now they've got a STD center they built 2 blocks from it, okay? And that's it.
So Bobby Jindal shut down Earl K. Long Hospital. And what happened? All of those folks who didn't have insurance, they went to other hospitals. And they were streaming into the Baton Rouge General Mid-City campus, and they couldn't handle all of the uninsured folks going there to get care. Now, what would Medicaid expansion mean? It would mean a lot of those folks would have insurance, and that would help hospitals because they're struggling with the weight of uncompensated care. And here's why people should care about that. You and I, when a hospital, we are lucky enough to have a health insurance. If a hospital closes, it doesn't just close for uninsured people. It closes for everyone in the community.
And all those people out in Baker and Zachary that go to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the Medicaid expansion makes sense for many, many reasons. It would create 16,000 jobs in this state. Bobby Jindal doesn't have he can't give enough tax credits away to big corporations to create 16,000 jobs. These are our tax dollars to create thousands of jobs here. Bill Cassidy is against it. Bobby Jindal is against it. They're partners in crime on this issue. They've created this Jindal gap where 240,000 working people can't get health care. That's something that's super important, and I think people should keep it in mind as election day comes. And keep in mind, early voting starts this Tuesday.
Thank you, worker bees from the Democratic Party. Kirsten, Alabama Talkers, and Sue Yen Wei, I very much appreciate it. I'm just,
Thank you for
I
having
can't
us.
catch, I'm just, I don't know, brain dead or whatever. But anyway, we've got a saying here on Baton Rouge Labor Radio, maybe you guys know it. If you work for free, you'll always have a job. Live Better Work Union. Catch us on the Facebook. You can catch a rebroadcast on Baton Rouge Labor Radio Facebook page of this broadcast and others. Have a nice day.